Welcome to the Mayor's Roundtable. I'm Dr. Donald DeFabio. Intelligent conversation, a semi-round table bringing you, the citizens of Berkeley Heights, the information you need to know direct from the source. Your Mayor, Robert Woodruff. Mayor, nice to see you tonight.
Good to see you again, Doc.
Happy summer, and we have a guest, Mike DeQuillo. Thank you for joining us tonight, Mike. So, Mayor, usually we talk a little bit, and then we segue to our guest, but we have a guest with us right away. What is your incentive here to do this?
Well, we're getting real close, finally, to getting a shovel in the ground with respect to our new building project here with the municipal building and so on and so forth. And Michael has substantial obligations and responsibilities for us. Michael's own professional background lends perfectly as to what his role is going to be. Basically as a liaison with the project manager, architect, and so on and so forth. And I thought tonight it would be appropriate to have Michael here and kind of tell us where we are with respect to the project. Some things, some dates have come and some events have occurred. So I think it's time that we, get a feeling for how far away we are from certain things and what kind of response we're getting from our request for information from various people that want to get involved. So I think Michael's the appropriate person to kind of get us started.
Well, guess what? That means you have a substantial obligation. That's a pretty hefty challenge. Seriously.
Yes, it is.
What do we need to know? What do the residents need to know at this stage about accurate information concerning the redevelopment of the downtown committee complex, the municipal complex?
So first and foremost, all the information I'm going to talk about tonight is on our website. So if you go to our website, www.berkeleyheightstwpnj.gov, on the left-hand side of the website, there's a button called Redevelopment. Under the redevelopment, there's a bunch of different documents, including a preliminary project schedule that was put together, and also, most importantly, a fact sheet about what is in the building. So, of course, we've all been talking about the redevelopment of the Township Berkeley Heights municipal property. The focal point of this project is, of course, the main building, but there's a lot more parts and pieces to this project just than from building the building itself. So I want to take just a couple minutes to talk about what is this project, besides the building. So this project is going to consist of 4 different phases. One is going to be the construction of a new salt dome. The reason why we need to construct a new salt dome is because where the current salt dome is right now is where the new complex is going to go. What's different about this new salt dome, it's also larger. Through an agreement of shared services with the county, they utilize our salt dome for salting of several different townships in this area of Union County. So this salt dome is going to be about 1,000 tons larger in capacity of salt storage, so that will be able to accommodate their need for it, in addition to the township's requirement. That project is in design right now, along with the main building itself, but most importantly, that project will see, come this fall, some activities. Of course, you have the main project itself, which you go through on our website, and you go through this document. It talks about all the different spaces in there, the sizes, what space is going to be used for between the police side of the building, the library, and of course the municipal administrative side, the community center, about the different community spaces, the space for the seniors that are going to be able to use for their meetings. So all this information is on the website there. And also another very important information. The big question is, how much is this going to cost us, and how much is it going to cost the residents? We have all the scenarios. Back in January at a town council meeting, we went through all the 2 different scenarios. Building this project with, of course, with the land transaction with the Church of the Little Flower, and also doing the project without that. What is that tax implication on a homeowner, and how much it would be? All that information is on that document. And just to go through, again, with this net project of a $28 million budget, plus procuring the property from Little Flower and the subsequent sale of it, net resulting of a $21 million net cost, projected budget cost for the property, a house that's assessed at roughly $308,000. This is not the market value, but the township assessed value. You would see a $78 increase, one-time increase on your property taxes. The other scenario, if for whatever reason the transaction did not happen with the Church of the Little Flower, then that appropriate cost would be a $255 increase, one-time increase on your taxes. So all that information is in there. So again, not what else is going on in the project is besides the actual building itself, is also improvements to the DPW. There's several DPW facilities that are towards the rear of the property that's going to be expanded and updated. And last but not least is, of course, the streetscapes and all the parking and everything. This building, once the new building is constructed, would be demolished, and now we'll be increasing our parking capacity for our commuters. So we're going to get an additional between 60 to 70 new parking spaces for our commuters. So these are all the benefits of what this project will bring and what will be done, and that is what is the cost of the full $28 million. So a lot of information out there said we're building a $28 million building. No, that is not correct. The total project cost, which includes all the architect's fees, all the construction management fees, the project management, purchasing of furniture, everything and anything that's going into this property is what the $28 million. And then the $28 million is the budget. It is not what we are saying. We are going to spend up to $28 million. This is the projected budget of what the project is. So where are we with this project? Where are we with this budget? So right now, our architect is currently working on finishing up what they call the schematic design. So we've seen over the last few months, concepts and pictures and different, here's what the floor, the layout of the building is going to be, what the exterior is going to look like. Now we get into the details of what type of floor, what type of equipment, what type of audiovisual, what type of everything within the building. Not necessarily what color is. Are we going to put carpeting in this space, tile, ceramic tile, what goes in the bathroom, what are the different details? All this many details we're starting to document right now, and the reason why we want to go through this very detailed documentation is to do another detailed estimate. One of the things that are in our architect's contract is that the various phases of the project, they say stop, pencil goes down, let's do an estimate. They bring in a third-party estimator to say, okay, now with all this information, what is the estimated cost to construct this? And then we get that number back. If that number is on budget, we continue. If that number is over budget, everything stops. Okay.
Is that a standard? Is that a standard process to keep reviewing the data? It sounds like it's an awful lot of extra work and redundant work to me.
It is, depending on projects. On a project of this magnitude, it is absolutely necessary because, again, you don't want to have a surprise that when you go out to bid this thing, all of a sudden you think it's going to be one price and it comes out.
It's standard for a project this size. Okay,
Exactly.
I just wanted to make sure.
Mike, let me ask you, Michael, what is the project manager's duty?
Right, so the project manager, right now we have an RFP out there to hire a project manager, a firm that will be dedicated to watch the budget, look at this, provide critique on the design, look at constructability. Sometimes, you may say this is a great way how we're going to build it, but when you actually go out to bid, all of a sudden it's like, you know what, you didn't think about this or that. Yeah. So we're looking to bring on, and right now we went out to RFP. The responses have come back. It's being evaluated to bring on this manager to look at it, provide constructability, make sure this can be built, look at the budget, provide a validation to the estimate of the architect, so that way there is always two set of eyes on there, and then most importantly, keeping this project on schedule. I have a very simple 10-line project schedule. This will turn into a 300-line schedule, talking about from the concrete to this to that to everything in detail to make sure this stays on time, on track, and most importantly, on budget.
Nice. No, that sounds like it's a pretty big undertaking.
Well, it is, and you can see Michael's been
knows his
involved.
stuff.
He's been involved, and
Yeah,
that's why we asked
Now,
Michael to
one
do
question, either one of you may know the answer. The amount of space we're getting in the new building is what we need now, or is there elbow room for growth and expansion? I mean, or do we find out in a year that, okay, we need an extra 500 feet for the library or square feet for the library?
The design is flexible.
Okay.
So there's spaces for today and then for needs of the future that may or may not be
Great.
necessary. So there is some flexibility in this design to make sure we are not
That's reasonable.
that we are not future-proof.
A question I think people need, wouldn't like to know.
It's a fair question. In addition, Michael mentioned the salt dome and the shared usage with the county.
Yeah.
Well, this is important because I know the county will direct itself to 3 different towns from the salt that they put in our salt dome. So we are in a position right now discussing with the county a possible contribution with respect to building the
So we'll
salt
get something back.
Yeah,
Nice.
and I think that's appropriate because, like I said, it's relied upon.
Can we sell them some brine while we're at it?
Well, I mean, that's also been an
There you
effective.
go,
We've
yeah.
done that well, and
Why not?
that saved the taxpayers some money. But I think getting the county involved in this is appropriate, and we hope to bring that to some kind of an agreement within the near future.
Good. Well, let's put some pressure on them. Now, Mayor, besides all of this that's going on, we also have some meetings coming up on the master plan, right?
That's correct. The master plan, we will have 2 citizens meetings. That is, anyone in town can come in. We're encouraging everybody. Come in and tell us what your thoughts are about where you see the future of this town going. All right? There'll be individuals here, our our master planner will be here and so on and so forth. There are two meetings. One is August 2nd from 7 to 9 at night, and the second is August 5th, which is a Saturday morning, from 9 to 12. So come on down and take a look at what's going on, and let's hear what your thoughts are. We want everybody to participate.
And that's what the communications wants you to do, is to be heard, and that's what our whole vision's about. So thanks for tuning in. We're going to take a short break. Michael, good job. Go to the website, look at that redevelopment tab, and when we come back, we're going to talk about something super important, the opioid epidemic. So stay with us. I'm Dr. Donald DeFabio. Eat in or dine out. It's Restaurant Week in Berkeley Heights. Gene Kingsley, you're on the Beautification Committee. Tell us about Restaurant Week.
Okay, Restaurant Week was brought to our attention by one of the restaurants in town with the idea of drawing people into our downtown. You know, Beautification's been working on the streetscape and enhancing the look and feel and working with the businesses, and we launched a new logo, Experience Berkeley Heights. But now we need a way to get people here and actually experience Berkeley Heights, and no better way than talk to people through their stomachs.
Yeah, I like that idea. Kristen, you're also on the Beautification Committee. How can people participate?
If you go to Experience Berkeley Heights or experiencebh.com, you will find out all the restaurants that are participating, and it's not just restaurants, it's also convenience stores, donut stores, liquor stores, and by doing that you can also download our passport and enjoy dining around the world locally. Our passport, if you take into any of participating establishments, you can get a stamp, and if you collect 5 or more, you can enter to win some prizes at the end of the week. So September 11th is when it starts, and we hope to have a lot of people from in town and out of town come join us.
Gene, what about out-of-town residents? Can they also participate?
Absolutely. They can participate in dining around the world locally. They can participate in the competition because we will have several prizes, you know, some for just participating, some for the people that get the most stamps. And I myself am extremely competitive. Julie Lloyd is even more competitive. So we are challenging everybody to try to beat us for the top prize with the most stamps and the biggest belly.
Well, there you go. You can get everything from snacks, I hear even some custard maybe, all the way through some fine dining and different cuisines. It's all there. Restaurant Week. Remember, September 11th, but it's Restaurant Week. Thanks, ladies.
Thank you, Dr. D.
Welcome back to the show. It's the Mayor's Roundtable. Mayor Robert Woodruff, we have another guest with us today who's going to talk about something that individuals we can participate with as a community. We are involved with, as a society we're involved with. It's really something where we have to take actually personal but also community control and responsibility for, and that's the opioid epidemic. So tell us a little bit about, well, first of all, Chief DePasquale, thank you for coming out today.
Thanks for having me, Don.
And we're going to look for this interesting relationship between the police department, the municipal department, and individual responsibility in the opioid epidemic and what our citizens can do to help themselves and protect themselves.
Well, Doc, a few months ago, the chief and myself at 2 separate sessions on the same day, the chief with other chiefs of the county, myself with other mayors in the county, met with the prosecutor of the county, Grace Park, and various law enforcement officials. And the thrust of the meeting was really the opioid epidemic. And it is really, it is nationwide, as you said, and this is an epidemic that knows no class lines, sex lines, age lines, cultural. It doesn't matter, okay? And it's dangerous and it's scary, and we have an obligation, I think, to let our citizens know what's going on. If anyone thinks it's not in Berkeley Heights, they're wrong, okay? I know today I saw in the paper that they arrested a doctor in Belleville for writing scripts for individuals in South Jersey. They were driving up and down the Parkway, getting these scripts, and this is serious stuff, and we've got to, I think our citizens need to know what can they do, what do they need to look for. And John is, hopefully we're going to take a proactive approach, and John's got some ideas about where we can go with this, and I thought it was important to do something a little different than we normally do, and I think this is really a public service in the highest extreme. I really do. So let's get to John and see how things go.
So Chief, this is not, it's more than just say no.
Exactly.
Yeah, so where does the police department fit into this whole epidemic? Because it starts with the docs prescribing the drugs, and then the people use up their prescriptions, and then what happens?
So we play it's sort of a new role for us. This new program that the mayor was talking about, this CLEAR program, is one of the many ways where we're not just doing the enforcement end of it. That's a piece of this whole issue that needs to be addressed. But the CLEAR program, which stands for Community Law Enforcement Addiction Recovery, is sort of a, not sort of, it's a program where it's basically the mission is for the Union County CLEAR program is to create a network of professionals within the Union County community that will enable the appropriate medical treatment and family intervention. How it works, it's pretty simple. Law enforcement in Union County will screen individuals to participate in the program, to pair them with the right certified recovery specialists, and anyone in possession of an illegal substances and paraphernalia can turn it in without fear of arrest, prosecution, or questioning from law enforcement. Now, there's a couple different ways those that are seeking help can reach out. One is they can call the CLEAR hotline at 1-855-UC-CLEAR5, that's UC CLEAR, or 1-855-825-3275. Or they can walk in on Tuesdays and Thursdays from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. at the Union County Sheriff's Office, located at the new Annex Courthouse in the basement of Elizabeth, and the Union County Police Department, which is located in Westfield.
So these are people who have a addiction problem, and they realize that, and they're ready for help.
Yes. So this program is in conjunction with the Union County Prosecutor's Office, obviously the Sheriff's Office, and also the Union County PD, but also Prevention Links. And what Prevention Links does is they provide the resources. They help provide the counselors in order to direct these people to the right resources, because that's part of the problem. Those that are seeking help, and also family members, are not sure of how they can get the help and what the resources are out there. And the county does a great job, and Prevention Links does a great job of providing many resources.
Wonderful, wonderful. So, Mayor, on a municipal level, you were mentioning that it's an issue here.
Absolutely, Doc. And one of the things that I'd like our citizenry to understand, look, many of us had surgery. We have residual pain, we have the medication, but obviously the pain goes away, and oftentimes we're left with medication that's obviously more than was necessary.
We're talking about Oxycontin, we're talking Nefita, what's the other one? Percocet's another
Percocet,
one.
Morphine, oxycodone,
right.
Oxycodone, morphine.
So,
Vicodin.
correct.
Okay.
So all of these are, where do we put them? Well, we put them in the medicine cabinet, okay? Well, that's oftentimes where the young kids go. All right, and the 15, 16, whatever age, and they're going to experiment. And so maybe we start with that, and maybe we let the parents know, look, when you're done, you've got to get rid of this stuff, okay? Now, John can let you know exactly, there are avenues that we can do this.
First, I want to echo that. It's important, once you're done with it, and you've used what you were supposed to, and don't let it linger. Don't let it sit in that medicine cabinet. And there are options. We had talked earlier. 4 out of 5 people that are using heroin start with prescription medication.
And that's not always stolen out of mom's medicine chest. Unfortunately, some of these people just like it too much and can't get off of it because morphine's morphine. Percocet's synthetic morphine, and it works because it gets you high, and people like that.
So to your point, how do you get rid of it? There's a couple ways. We participate along with a program through the DEA and the prosecutor's office, which is drug take-back, which is prescription drug take-back, which is twice a year, usually in the spring around April and in the fall. This last April, we took in 17 plus pounds of prescriptions. Not all narcotics, but just prescription medication that for any of it should be disposed of properly. Beyond that, the issue is that's a lot of time for stuff to stay in households. So we don't in Berkeley Heights have a drop box, but throughout Union County there are, I believe, 12 at this point, 12 drop boxes. And Summit's probably the closest one here. Springfield also has one.
And that's at the police department?
It's at the police department.
Just bring it in and...
No questions asked.
Great. That's nice.
Absolutely.
And the same thing with the CLEAR program. No questions asked.
No questions asked.
John, let me ask...
I need to qualify that in terms of if you come in and to turn in drugs, there's no questions asked as far as that. As far as the program itself, the CLEAR program, there is a screening process to make sure you qualify. Okay. Those that don't, there's options. They'll still find resources for somebody that may not qualify for that.
I'm going to rephrase that question to you can turn yourself in without risk of persecution.
Right.
Even though you're going to the police department,
Absolutely.
they're going to get you to help rather
Absolutely.
than just throwing you back and lock you up cold turkey.
Chief, let me ask you, if a parent suspects that a child is under the influence
Or
of,
spouse.
or a spouse, but in particular, let's begin with a child because you know, you have various issues with juveniles and so on and so forth. If a parent has such a suspicion, what do you ask him or her to do? They obviously want to take care of their child. They don't want to expose them necessarily to criminal prosecution of any kind. That individual child may have information that's helpful to the authorities. So there's always a reticence, perhaps. What do you recommend to mom or dad in a situation like that?
Well, I would recommend, if it's not a law enforcement issue, if it's not an emergency, obviously if it is an immediate emergency, if they're in distress due to the narcotics that they've taken, you know, that's a 911 situation. They need to call us. And again, I talked about the Overdose Prevention Act, and also the Good Samaritan, which which is an important part of this, because what that does, it allows someone to call the police, to call 911 when someone's in distress and potentially going through an overdose without repercussions of, again, prosecution. And what the Overdose Prevention Act simply says is a person who in good faith seeks medical assistance for him or herself or someone else experiencing a drug overdose is immune from being arrested, charged, prosecuted, or convicted for obtaining, possessing, using, being under the influence of, or failing to make lawful disposition of a controlled dangerous substance or controlled substance. The Good Samaritan law does not protect people from arrest for other offenses such as selling or trafficking drugs or driving while drugged.
Wow.
So it's important that people know that. We want people to know when whether it's young people or a parent of a child that's suffering, you know, a serious situation due to drug overdose.
Don't hide it.
Don't hide it. Just call and this law applies and we'll get the help. And as you know, we talked about it. Our officers are equipped with naloxone,
Narcan,
which is
right.
also known by the brand name Narcan, more familiar. And you know,
Have we used it in town?
We've put it to good use. The county rolled out this program in 2014, and we've since 2014 we've used it 4 times successfully where patients have survived. Nice. Unfortunately, in that same time period, we've had 3 overdose deaths in Berkeley Heights. So to the point earlier, we are not immune from this national scourge, that's for sure.
And one of the things that Prosecutor Park mentioned that day, which really hit me, the average age, one might think, wow, 18, 19, 17, it's in the 40s.
Yeah.
The average age is in the 40s. So this is ruining homes, okay? You're taking people out of the workforce. You're taking people, and when you're out of the workforce, then you're not taking care of the family. And then you get the deterioration of the family. So it really becomes an extremely difficult situation, and it's one we've got to attack.
That was the point I was kind of leading to. It's the prescription drugs are given in good faith, but in reality, there's a percentage of people that are at risk for addictive behavior, whatever it is.
Correct.
And one of those persons gets this type of drug, and it just drives them right down that road, and we can talk about genetics and everything, but the bottom line is, like Rhode Island just passed a law where they made it mandatory where insurance companies must cover non-medicinal approaches for the management of pain. You know, acupuncture, chiropractic, TENS, yoga, things like that, because we got to look at this differently.
Yeah.
You know, it just, because, you know, sometimes, medication's essentially important, but it's that misuse and abuse gets us into trouble. You know?
One of the things, Chief, that I think is important is and I think it helps with the public police relations. Like the Chief said, look, we are partnering with these people. We're saying we want to help you. Come use our resources. We're not here to put you in jail. We're here to get you better, okay? And this is a positive interaction between our police force, you know, and our citizenry.
Is this just a county thing, or is this a statewide thing, or a national thing, this CLEAR
You know,
program?
it's actually, I believe it started in Massachusetts where it was first introduced. It was recently successfully piloted in Sussex County, and it's a full-fledged program now. And now, Union County is doing it. Like I said, the Union County
So
Prosecutor's
just rolling
Office,
out little by little.
the Sheriff's Department, along with the County PD, along with Prevention Links.
So we know there's the Good Samaritan law, for drug overdose. We know that the CLEAR program's out there. We know we can get rid of the drugs that might be hanging around the house that shouldn't be there, okay? What other take-homes do our residents need to know about protecting themselves, their community, and really taking responsibility?
It's really just being aware and just knowing, reaching out when you need to find resources, because there's a lot of people out there that just don't know where to turn. And Prevention Links is a good place in Union County to turn, and you can find the resources that are available to you, like to the situation that the mayor said, where it may not be a police matter at that time, but somebody in your life is struggling. How do you help them?
Excellent.
John, an awareness program. Obviously, to the extent we can get out there to the kids and parents in some affirmative way. Has there been any interaction with the schools as to maybe joining up and getting right to these kinds of situations?
Absolutely. As you know, we've had a DARE program for years and years and years. Recently, we've gone to the LEAD program, which stands for Law Enforcement Against Drugs. Similar type program. That's a 5th grade program that we do. We go through all the schools and we teach kids about drug awareness and the consequences along with some other life lessons. But we've realized, and the mayor mentioned this, the age group. Obviously that's an early age, but I do recommend starting early with talking to your children and talking to people about it. But we also know we have to reach those that are, through all the age groups. And one of the things we're doing now is we're doing a drug awareness seminar July 31st of this year, right here in Town Hall at 7 o'clock. And that's just one of many. We're just going to keep doing that. We continue to work with the schools, look for other forums to get the messages out and to get people aware of it. We've recently partnered with the Primrose School. They were kind enough to provide us with a generous donation of a very contemporary drug kit, so we can, even in our youth academy, we use it for our drug awareness for the proper age groups. So that's where we're at now. We're trying to just find any forum we can to get the message out as best we can.
And Chief, I just want to briefly commend you and your officers on the Youth Academy, because it's been a great thing, and I don't know how many years we've been doing it, but it's been a great thing, and I want to thank you and your officers.
I believe it's year 6. And,
it's a great thing.
It's picking up, it's getting better and better too, and we're reaching out to more and more kids. It's
great stuff, really is, great stuff.
It is good stuff, and Chief, it's exciting to see the police department getting involved with proactive community service things again. You don't really, the DARE program and now the LEARN program and this CLEAR program. People need to remember that the police department does give back and does get involved with the community. You're not just the strong arm. Right. So I think that's great. We want to underscore that. Mayor, we got a lot going on in October. We got September. We have Restaurant Week coming up.
Looking forward to that.
Yeah, so there's a lot going on there. Concerts, a few more concerts in the park as well. So, Chief, thank you very much. Mayor, thank you.
It's great, Doc.
And remember, everybody, go safe, and stay clean from these drugs. I'm going to throw that one in, okay? For the Mayor's Roundtable, I'm Dr. Donald DeFabio with Chief D. Pasquale, with Mayor Robert Woodruff. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll talk to you soon.